Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hello. Welcome back, guys. I'm Pablo.
I'm Morella.
And this is The Unfolding Hour, episode 2.
Yes, welcome back to our scattered stories, scatterbrains.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's just, that's kind of what this podcast is about. Just being all over the place, kind of what our thoughts are at the moment.
Yeah, and all the stories that we find scattered around the internet. I like that.
Yeah.
It can be a little thing, #scatterbrains.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to be called, our followers.
Yes.
Our listeners. And that's why we also have the subreddit. I'll link it down in the description. And it's just r/TheUnfoldingHour. But we have post flares for literally anything, like retail, horror stories, paranormal, personal stories.
I think like folklore or urban legends.
Urban legends, international stuff, relationship advice, literally everything and anything. So just make sure you join the subreddit so then you can post your own stories. And that way we can feature them in future episodes.
Yeah, just any scattered stories you guys have. They could be funny, they could be sad, they could be heartfelt, they could be scary, they could be interesting. Honestly, anything.
Or even not interesting. If it's just something you want to share and you're like, it's just what it's going through my mind right now, and just post it. Then yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll appreciate it.
Yep.
You want to start or should I start?
I'll start because I have a little bit of a silly thing that happened to me this week that I've been meaning to tell you. Nothing crazy, just something that I was like, gosh, that's embarrassing. So our son has an ear infection, and so on Friday, so this was 2 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
2 days ago, he got his prescription, and so I went to the Sam's Club pharmacy to pick it up, but they hadn't quite told me if it was ready or not yet. So when I went, they were telling me like, okay, we have to get it ready, and there were a little bit of things going on, but she was like, are you a Sam's Club member? And I said I was, and so I didn't have the physical Sam's Club card because I had given it to you. And so
because you have the app.
Right.
Yeah.
So on the app, they have like a barcode. What is it? Like
Basically like a digital membership card.
A digital membership card, and they could just scan it. It's just easier that way. So since I have that, I could just use that. So I told her that I was, and so she's like, okay, do you have your card with you? So I tell her, oh, it's on my phone. So I hand her my phone, and she's like, okay. She's like, well, I need to take it back there and type in the numbers because it doesn't let me scan it in. So I'm like, okay. So she walks to the back.
I'm scared.
No, it's not. It's not even that interesting. It's just something that I was like, oh, I'm so stupid. So she takes it to the back, and she's working on it. And I'm standing there and I'm waiting, and she kind of takes a little while. And then out of nowhere, I'm like, where's my phone? And I'm like looking in my purse. I'm going in my pockets. I'm looking all around, and I'm like, did I leave my phone in my car?
What?
And I'm like, where is my phone? I was like, I just had it. And I'm like digging through my purse. I'm looking all around, and I'm like, what in the world? Where is my phone? I was like, I didn't leave it in the car because I just texted Pablo. So I literally rang it from my Apple Watch.
No.
And I ring it, and I hear it, and I'm like, where is it?
That's so embarrassing.
And I hear it, and then I'm like, where is it? And then it hits me, and I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Oh my God.
And I'm over here like, oh, it's like, maybe she doesn't know what that sound means. Maybe she just thinks that somebody's like texting me. And then I was like, everybody has an Apple Watch. And so I was just like, oh gosh. And I'm just like standing there like,
God, that's so embarrassing.
And then so like maybe like I don't know why, but it took her a little while, and then she came back like a minute later and she hands it to me. And I'm just like, I didn't even say anything. A part of me was like, should I say something?
No, at that point you just ignore the
I
fact
was
that it
like,
happened.
I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I did that. But
You should have been like, did someone try calling me?
But yeah, I don't know why. I just.
It's that baby brain.
But yeah, I just had.
Baby brain is real.
I just had a moment where I was like, where did my phone go? And I was freaking out. I was looking all through my purse. I was like checking my pockets, and I was like, oh, I can just ring it on my Apple Watch. And then I hear it in the back of the pharmacy, and I'm like, oh.
That's so embarrassing.
Okay. So yeah, so
that's good. That's funny.
A silly little thing that happened to me this week. Because I'm a scatterbrain.
There you go. Your brain was scattered.
Yes.
I do have a personal story too to share.
Okay.
It's kind of embarrassing.
Okay.
And I don't know. Do you want me to share my personal story first, or do you want to go ahead and read one of those stories you have, and then I read a personal story?
Does your personal story go with your stories?
Yeah, they do. It has a little bit of a theme.
Then maybe wait, because my personal story didn't have to do with my stories.
Yeah.
I was just saying it.
I've been dying to tell you this story though for like 2 weeks now since it happened.
Well, let me tell mine, and then you'll do
No,
yours.
yeah, I agree.
Because if it was different, we could probably do it separately. So I'm not going to tell you the theme yet. I'm going to do this story, and then from this we'll go into my theme.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard about this. I really hope you haven't. But did you hear about a bear in California that was destroying like people's cars?
Is this Cocaine Bear?
I don't know what that is.
It was like a movie?
No.
Oh, no. Never mind. I haven't heard of it.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
So in California, there was this bear. So people were making... Okay, so back in January, there were a few insurance claims that were made out of California, and they all pertained to a bear getting into these cars and destroying them. But the thing is, they were like fancy cars. Like it was a Rolls Royce, and it was 2 Mercedes Benz, and the owners, or I don't know if all of them were, but one of them got a video of the bear in the car. And so they get that video, and the bear's in there, and, you know, they get all that evidence. So they submit it to the insurance company, and they started their claims and everything. But it was all a lie. It was part of an elaborate insurance fraud scheme. There was no such bear. It was actually a person in a bear costume.
But didn't they record it? So they recorded a person in a bear costume.
They had this whole scheme going on. So these people that own these fancy cars got, I guess, a friend of theirs or somebody to dress up as a bear. They video, and there's this bear in a car, but it's a person in a bear suit. And like the insurance company thought something sus was going on, and so when they watched the video, they were like, something about this video is off. So they literally got people to look at it from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and they were like, yeah, that's obviously a person in a bear suit.
They said no bear moves like that. So
the insurance company like did their whole investigation. They went to the suspect's home, and they literally found the bear costume. And so I had seen these through like news articles, and so NBC News, the article that they had says that the scam cost the insurance company $141,839. So it was like a lot. It was a lot. But yeah, so the article that I saw was called "A Person Dressed in a Bear Costume to Fake Attacks on Cars for Insurance Payout," California officials say. Just in case anyone is interested in looking at that for more information. But that's pretty wild and honestly pretty ingenious. Like, I feel like they're probably pretty proud of themselves when they thought, not now, but at the time, they were probably like, why has nobody done this before?
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we got away with it. We're so smart.
But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, maybe, I guess if I had thought of something like that, I wouldn't think that the insurance company, first of all, I wouldn't think I would get caught if I was going to do it.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
But why would you keep the bear costume? I feel like at that point, get rid of all the evidence. But then, like I said, if I had done it, I feel like I wouldn't think that the insurance company would come in my house and find
That,
it.
or they were probably planning on doing it again. They're like,
That's
well, we've
true.
already done it once or twice. We can do
Yeah.
it 3, 4, 5 times. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Criminals get greedy. They didn't get caught the first, second, or third time. And they're
Yeah.
like, I can keep going. And it's that
Yeah.
4th or 5th time, they're like, caught.
Yeah. And I feel like, honestly, I don't think that I feel like they thought it was pretty foolproof. Like, I don't think they would have thought, like, the insurance, like, what's the insurance company going to think? Because it's not like you're saying, like, a person hit me where they're like, well, this person could be in cahoots with you or you could have planned it. It's like you're saying, like, a bear did it. How could a bear be in on an insurance scheme? But
It's your pet bear.
yeah. So there's that interesting thing going on in
That's
California.
not smart. You know, it's a good thing criminals are dumb.
Yeah.
Because if they were smart, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah. So I just thought that was pretty funny. And then from there, I kind of went into, I was like, oh, well, insurance fraud is pretty interesting. So I went and got some insurance fraud stories or insurance fraud schemes, scams, all sorts of things like that. So, okay.
Criminal Central over here.
Yeah. So I went on Reddit to try and find some pretty interesting things pertaining to insurance fraud. So this is on, I don't know how Reddit works.
Right. I'm not a
Redditor.
avid Redditor.
What is it called whenever it's like r dash?
Slash?
Yeah.
It's a
Slash.
subreddit, so it's a group.
Okay, so this...
So like ours is r/TheUnfoldingHour.
Okay.
But it's, you won't say, oh, I saw it on r/TheUnfoldingHour. You would just say, in the subreddit, The Unfolding Hour.
Okay, so this subreddit is insurance, is where I got it from.
Okay.
So this person posted 5 years ago, adjusters, what's the craziest case of a fraud you guys have uncovered?
Oh, so this is from the adjuster side. That's what the subreddit's about. Okay.
Right. So this was posted 5 years ago, and this lady, this says the person that posted it is the insurance lady. So she said, I'm copying and pasting from a prior comment. It's long as another user asked for details. So she was kind of detailed about it. So this was pretty interesting. When I was reading it, I was like, what is going on? So, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she said, okay, here's the claim for the 82-year-old, telling it from my, parentheses, investigation point of view. So she's the one hearing this, and so she's the one investigating her, you know. So she says, I get assigned a claim where there was an injury involved. It was reported by an 82-year-old woman who was driving a relatively new Dodge Challenger, maybe only 2 to 3 years old. She called our toll-free number to report the claim and says she was rear-ended by our customer. I remember thinking, she must be a cool grandma driving a car like that. I call my customer and just leave a message. I then call the elderly woman and we set her up for an inspection of her vehicle the following morning. She agreed to drive it to one of our shops to take photos and write an estimate. She was very patient and understanding that I would still need to speak to my customer first. She didn't talk much about the accident, but did talk a lot about how much pain she is in. Her back hurts, neck hurts, arm hurts, etc. She said she's not in great health to begin with and asked if she can go to the doctor. I explained the injury claims process and how it works with Medicare. Later in the business day, my customer calls back and she admits that she's at fault, says traffic was at a full stop behind a red light. She had reached over to get her water bottle and her foot must have slipped off the brake pedal and just rolled into the car ahead. She said there was just paint scraping damages and not a big deal. I explained that the other driver was claiming injury. She said, "Oh, I understand that. The driver said she was pregnant. She didn't look pregnant to me, but that's understandable. She said she was only 3 months into her pregnancy." I asked for permission for a recorded statement now. She described the other driver in her early 20s, very light black American, skinny build, and at the scene stated that she was on her way to a college class. I also asked my customer to send me photos of her vehicle and to describe herself. She told me her height, hairstyle, what she was wearing at the time, etc. She is 100% sure that there was no passengers in either vehicle.
What?
The next morning, I called the shop and I asked if they wouldn't mind taking some photos of the person driving in the vehicle. Just explained I was concerned about an injury claim. They agreed. Right after lunch, the shop emails me photos and an estimate of the vehicle. Minor paint and muffler damages, and the estimate was around 100. I just blanked on how to say numbers.
Where's the comma?
1,100. There isn't one. That's why it kind of threw me off.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Around 100.
Around 1,001?
$1,100. They do take pictures of the vehicle with her in the background. She is an elderly Caucasian woman, full white curly hair like Barbara Bush, wearing this floral print dress and using a walker, complete with tennis balls. I called the elderly woman and, with permission, recorded the conversation. I explained that I had good news, that my customer called back and we were affording insurance coverage, but there was some discrepancies to the accident, so I couldn't accept responsibility yet and needed to clarify the information. She couldn't answer any questions about where the accident happened, traffic conditions, the purpose of her trip. She just repeatedly said she was in shock and scared and was rear-ended. How can she be expected to remember this? She did admit that she did exchange information with my customer, but could not describe my customer, couldn't say her hair color, clothing, did she wear glasses, nor could she describe my customer's car. Just tell me the color or the type. Was it a small convertible or a huge SUV? Eventually, I thanked her for her cooperation and explained that we are accepting responsibility for the accident. I go through the options of vehicle repairs and car rental, but she really wasn't interested in it and really wanted to just discuss her injury claim. Without prompting, she reiterated how hard the accident was on her. Her back, neck, and arms really hurt, and since we talked, she got a migraine the night prior, etc.
Oh.
She said she's in so much pain. It'll cost a lot of money to get me back to the way I was. But to save us the trouble, I'll settle for $25,000 right now.
Oh, that was quick.
This was the smoking gun. I feigned empathy and said it must suck, especially being pregnant and all. She asked me how I knew that. I said that my customer shared that with me, that the driver was pregnant. She did say that she was pregnant and it was a surprise pregnancy. I told her I thought it was awesome as she will surely be in the Guinness Book of World Records. She hung up after that. I promptly escalated this to our special investigations unit and called the elderly woman's insurance company. Apparently, the elderly woman really did own the vehicle, and it was her granddaughter that was the driver, who is mixed race. The granddaughter was an excluded driver on the insurance policy and didn't want to get in trouble with that, which would have been completely fine and overlooked if she didn't get greedy and add in the injury claim. She was picked up by the county sheriff to go to jail for attempted insurance fraud. I doubt she had to do much, likely ROR, and ended up with nothing. We still would have fixed her car, but there was no way she was going to call me again. My customer, although happy, she will not have her rates go up from this event. She is 100% responsible, but nothing paid out. Did feel bad about the whole thing. She certainly didn't mean to get anyone incarcerated.
That does kind of suck for the person that rear-ended them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, not saying that the grandma should have done what she did, but it sucks. They were living their normal life, and then someone rear-ends you, and it's like, okay, I'm not in your insurance. The grandma's like, oh, don't worry, I'll cover for you.
Yeah.
And then she ends up going to jail.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks.
I mean, the grandma did get a little greedy.
But yeah, what are you doing?
She got a little greedy there. She was like, let me just... I'm 82 years old. Who's going to tell me differently?
Yeah, that's what she was thinking. She's like, I'm an old little young lady, or old little lady.
Yeah. But I don't know what she was thinking. I mean, I feel like it's kind of obvious that the other person would describe the other driver. Or maybe she's just thinking like they're just going to say, I had a car wreck. I'm responsible.
I mean, you went through it. You got rear-ended, what, last year?
Yeah, I got
Were you
rerouted
pregnant?
last year. I was pregnant.
You were pregnant.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exact same story.
That is true.
Was she mixed? Oh no, the
No.
person that got hit was mixed.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah,
I was gonna say maybe it was you.
Yeah. But she did. She got a little greedy there, and that's what I mean. She literally went to jail for it. An 82-year-old woman. So.
I mean, she'll get free healthcare in there. So there you go. She got what she wanted.
I guess she got what she wanted.
What in the world? That is insane.
Yeah. So.
I didn't think it was gonna be her granddaughter. I thought it was just. I don't know where it was going.
I know when I was reading it, I was like, what is going on? I was like, pregnant, 82-year-old, what? But, yeah.
And she was greedy.
She
the
was
insurance lady was, or male, it doesn't really state.
Yeah.
Was perfectly, they said, you know what, whatever.
No, she's literally called the insurance lady.
Oh, okay. The insurance lady, TM, was gonna look over everything. She said, you know what, whatever. We take full responsibility. I don't care about all the other misconnections and lies and whatnot, because she obviously knew there were a lot of lies. But she said, I don't care. We'll cover it. And then she goes and gets greedy. Yeah, I'll take 25K.
Like, just give me 25K.
And I thought where this was going was, this old lady, she needed some medical attention. She didn't have enough money. Mm-hmm. So she had someone rear end her, and they kind of
got their stories mixed up?
Yes, they got their stories mixed up.
Okay.
And I thought that's where that was going. She's like, look, she's really needing like a back surgery or something. She's like, my back hurts so much from the accident. I thought that's what it was going to be. But no, she just wanted money.
Yeah. I didn't even know where I was going. When I was reading it, I was like, what is going on? So, yeah, that was an interesting one. And then I have one more. This is my last one. This I kind of found pretty interesting because you used to work at a bank. So this one has to do with the bank. So the subreddit, that's what it's called, right? The r- one. So the subreddit is Tales from Your Bank.
I like that.
So this one is like,
the amount of stories I could add to that subreddit.
that is true.
Oh my God. You know what? That's going to be one of our post flares. I'm going to add bank something because
bank stories, crazy banks.
There's some crazy ones that I have.
So this one, it's not that someone, so the person that posted it is the one that also posted their story. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry, repeat it.
So like the person that asked the question also put their story. Like it's not like a comment to the.
So they asked a question and they said, well, here's my story.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So the person that asked this question or posted
So the person who posted it, usually it's called OP. They're the original poster. And so a lot of people in the comments, if you ever read through the comments, it'll say OP was definitely right in doing that or stuff like that. So that's, if you ever see OP, that's the original poster. Sometimes you will see someone repost a post of someone else's and just show, like, there's a subreddit called Best of Redditor Updates, and it will show you the best stories that have an update to it. But they're not the ones who updated it. They're just sharing, hey, look, everyone, there's an update. And they will say OOP, so the original poster, stating, like, if I posted something and then you go and make a story out of it saying, hey, look, Pablo updated, everyone go look, you would call me OOP, and other people in the comments would be OOP.
Interesting.
But if it's in my post, people would just say, I'm OP, original poster.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna become a Reddit expert.
You're gonna get all the terminology down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have a Reddit account. I literally just look up crazy stories Reddit, something like that.
You need to have a Reddit account.
Do I?
Yeah, it'll make everything easier. Yeah, I mean,
just looking it up.
No, but I mean, you can comment and leave your little advice if you want, your 2 cents.
That would be hilarious.
Especially, I mean, for our subreddit, you would need a comment.
Yeah, that's true.
But then again, you can always just go in our subreddit and comment as The Unfolding Hour.
Okay. So this is subreddit Tales from Your Bank, and the so OP.
Look at you, quick learner.
So it says Enter the Dragon, and they asked, "What's the craziest fraud story you've ever heard?"
Another fraud one.
Yeah, that's the theme, fraud or scam, fraud, all that. So it says, "I don't know if this qualifies as crazy, but it's pretty bad." So he says, My boss asked me to pull up an image of a withdrawal slip yesterday, with the slip being from last week and from another branch down the street from us. It was for a $17,000 withdrawal from a checking account. At the top right hand corner of the slip were the words, "Customer is legally blind." Then she had me pull up his transaction history. He had made 3 very large withdrawals during the past week, all of which totaled to around $25,000.
Oh my God. Someone's taking advantage of him.
I asked why she was showing me this, and she explained apparently the customer himself had called the bank yesterday and frantically told them that his account had suspicious activity on it. He said that there was $25,000 missing from his checking. He also said that his ID was missing as well.
No.
Of course, they pulled the images up and said he was the one who had made the withdrawals, and he said, "No, I am blind and do not leave the house often, and I certainly didn't go to the bank last week." An investigation has launched, but as of right now, it is understood that a man came into the bank last week and pretended to be blind with giant sunglasses and a hat and a stick. He had the real blind guy's ID, and although the signatures didn't quite match up, he blamed it on the blindness.
That's honestly genius.
Obviously, this was someone who knew or cared for the actual blind guy, but because he was basically wearing a disguise, they can't exactly just figure it out by watching the film.
Right.
I said to my boss, "Man, and no one suspected anything or noticed something was off with those giant withdrawals?" "Well," she replied, "would you want to be the one who looked at the blind guy, pointed at him, and accused him of faking being blind?"
I guess, yeah.
Excellent point. And then he asked, "What's your best fraud story?"
I don't even know where to start. Because I know the person questioning, like, how did someone not catch this? How did someone not say something's wrong?
Yeah.
Something's weird.
Yeah.
Or look at their license and be
Yeah.
like, okay, let me see if it says they're legally blind. Because they would say it on their license in every state. I think it's every state. But most states, at least, it will show you their restrictions. And so if it's a driver's license, it will say either they're legally blind and can't drive or some type of restriction. Like for me, I wear glasses. I have a restriction. I think it's 06 or something like that. That's what it says on the back of it.
Yeah.
So it would say something. So I'd like to think that if the customer came up to me, I'd look at them and be like, oh, okay, let me see if they have a restriction. But I don't know. Like they said, would you be the one to be like, sir, prove
he
that you're
has the
blind.
blind guy ID.
Yeah.
So if it says legally blind.
It said it on the ID? Or did it say on the withdrawal slip?
No. I'm saying, like you said, like if the ID do say it's like you're legally blind. I mean, he has the blind guy's ID.
Yeah.
So you know, and it's like honestly, he's like I'm assuming they told him because it says he had the real blind guy's ID and all of the signatures didn't quite match up. He blamed it on the blindness. So I'm assuming somebody told him like, hey, these signatures don't match up. But even if they didn't, it's like, how do you tell this blind person, hey, your signature was off? Last time it looked this way, now it looks this way. I feel like I would be too.
But I mean, that is something that they teach us, at least at where I used to work at, to keep an eye out, is make sure signatures match. Especially alarm bells need to be ringing once you hear the word or the amount of anything of 10,000 or above.
Yeah.
For anything.
Yeah.
Honestly, 5,000 and above, your alarm bell should be ringing. Because if I'm making a $5,000 even deposit, you start questioning it. Where did you get the $5,000 from?
Yeah.
Why are you depositing all that in cash? Why didn't you already have that in there? Why are you just depositing $5,000 in cash? Let alone withdrawing $17,000 at once. That means that it didn't just go to a normal teller. It had to get escalated to either the supervisor, depending on their limits, or an assistant branch manager, or even the branch manager, depending on the branch's limits.
Yeah.
So someone of higher authority, of more experience, better knowledge, and whatnot, is the one who dealt with this customer, and they just gave them $17,000 cash.
Yeah.
And normally there should be some type of, a couple questions need to be asked before
Yeah.
you can just give someone that much money. Like, I understand some people might get upset, like, hey, look, it's my bank, it's my money, give it to me, just withdraw it. You don't need to ask me all these questions, but we're a bank.
Yeah.
You know, we have to ask those questions. We're legally obligated to, and we want to make sure that if someone did come in acting like you'd want us to make those questions.
Yeah.
So somewhere, something went wrong.
I guess, yeah. I mean, even if you take the blindness out of the equation,
Yeah.
just the amount of money.
Yeah, just the amount.
No matter who it is,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And if it's an elderly person or a blind person or a handicapped person or whatever, I feel like even more so, you're kind of like, I guess you don't ask what it's for, but I mean, maybe a little bit alarm bells over like, is this person being scammed?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
Like, hey, what do you need this money for? That's exactly a good point. Is, are you being scammed? That would be something that I would
is
ask.
that something that at the bank
You're trained
would
to
ask?
do? Yes.
You ask them that?
Yes.
You ask them what they need the money for?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Interesting.
You would ask them, like, hey, it's none of my business or something like that, but we are required, or not required, but we are trained to look out for scams. And, like, you're an older person, you're legally blind. My first thought would be, you're being scammed. Like, what is this money for? What are you using it for?
But do you say it, you approach it that way though?
I don't know how I would approach it now that I've been out of the game for so long, but I think I would just straight up tell them, or I'm probably not. Probably you want to.
You just ask like, oh, what do you need this money
Yeah,
for? But then at
yeah.
the same time, I feel like they'd be like, it's none of your business. Like,
Yeah, I mean, but if they say none of your business, then you can probably be like, well, look, I'm just looking out for you. Your money is in my best interest.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that there isn't anything wrong and no one's scamming you or anything. Because I had a bunch of people trying to get scammed at the bank I used to work at. I almost dropped the name.
Yeah.
And so I would have to ask those questions. But
Yeah.
$17,000, regardless, you're asking questions no matter what.
Yeah.
You have to.
I agree.
And you're the supervisor or assistant
Yeah.
branch manager or the branch manager. Like in my bank, I think normal tellers had a $1,000 limit for the first 90 days, increases to maybe $2,000 or $2,500 limit. Then you have senior tellers, and it was up to $5,000 maybe for any type of transaction. And then supervisors was maybe 10, and assistant branch managers were either between 25 and 50,000, and then branch managers is anything that's above that. So in that scenario, if it was at my bank when I was working there, I would have been the one dealing with him. Like maybe they go to you as a normal teller. They're like, hey, blah, 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 $17,000. Immediately you'll be like, hey, Pablo, I need your help with this.
Yeah. It's interesting. I hadn't really, when I first read it, I didn't really I mean, I knew it was a lot of money, but like now reading it again, I'm like, wait, it's not even the fact that he's blind really at this point. Like the very first thing, it's like, wait, why? I mean, obviously they found it a little, well, no, actually they didn't, because they did the withdrawal, the 17K
they just
withdrawal. The person that was being scammed was the one that was like, hey.
Yeah, they called a couple of days later.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him calling, they literally would have known nothing was wrong. They'd have been like, oh, I did my job fine.
Yeah. But then the crazy part, so like we said, like that already is like, that's the first thing. It's like, wait, why? It's just 17K out of nowhere, you know? But then also, I think the thing that also stuck out to me is the fact that they're saying it had to be someone that was close to him that knew, that somehow took his ID, which is really messed up.
That's
like,
sad.
If it's a friend of yours, or even they're pretending to be a friend or a family member, whatever, they literally took this man's ID. Like,
they took advantage of a poor old, I don't even know if they were old, but just
a person with a
handicap. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a whole different level type of messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty crazy.
I remember I had a customer come in, and I think I was just a supervisor at the time. But they came in asking a deposit, a check. They didn't have an account with us, so we had for the amount that she was asking for, we said you would have to have an account with us, and we would have to put it on the hold anyways for 9
to cash a check?
Yeah.
Oh.
But we were like, we can't cash you that check because you don't have that account with us. You don't have an account with us. One, two, it was hard to verify the check because it was, I think, I want to say, $45,000 check, and it was the story that the lady told me was, oh, her father, I believe, passed away.
Mm-hmm.
This is her life insurance money, her inheritance, and that she was going to be getting. She's like, yeah, I'll be getting another check by the end of the year for the same amount. And so I'm like, oh, okay. And you're skeptical, obviously, the amount. Like I said, alarm bells were ringing for that amount. But no, turns out we put on a 9-day hold. She was fine with that. But she's like, can I get $2,000 now? And you're like, ooh, that's a red flag.
Is it?
Yeah, because normally, I mean,
Is it kind of like you think like they're trying to get what they can
exactly
before they get caught?
Exactly. And once you give the person the cash, it's out of your hands. They have it. You lost that money. If it is a fraud, if it's a scheme, if it's a fraudulent check, you just gave up $2,000.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a criminal charge for the person and whatnot, but you're out of a job for $2,000. You're out of the job. That person probably lost their job for $17,000. That's just one withdrawal slip. The branch said it was how much? 25,000 in total.
Yeah, totaled around 25K.
Couple people are out of their jobs.
Three
different
withdrawals.
withdrawals.
3 very large withdrawals during the past week.
That totaled 25. So one of them was 17.
It wasn't even like over months.
Yeah, one of them was 17, and the other two would have been between $8,000. So 4 and 4, 5 and 3.
Yeah, they were probably like, "Oh, it worked this time.
Yeah.
Let's go big." Hopefully, I mean, they didn't catch us the first 2 times. They're not onto us or anything.
But in my story, the lady was it was a legit check.
It was legit.
Yeah, we put it on a 9-day hold, business day hold, and she didn't ask for $2,000. I think it was a lot less, couple hundred or something like that. And we were like, you know what, for a couple hundred, yeah, we're gonna risk it. And so we gave her a couple hundred, and she came back again. And after we made a couple phone calls to the check issuer, so the bank that issued the check, they were like, yeah, it's a legit check and all that. We still have to have it on a 9-day business hold until it all clears. But we gave them what?
Nothing.
Did I say something?
No.
Okay. Anyways, she would come back and be like, "Can I get another 100, another 200?" And we would still give her the money because we already knew the check was good, but we just had to wait for it to clear. But no, yeah, she $45,000, and then end of the year, same thing, same exact check. The next year, same thing.
Wow.
Yeah, she was just getting her insurance money like that, or not insurance, inheritance money. But it sucked because within maybe a month after she got her check cleared, maybe not even that much, she came by asking to deposit some money or withdraw some money, I don't remember, to make a transaction, and she had like maybe $1,000 or $2,000 left in her account.
Wow.
And she's like, she would always come in with someone new asking or saying like, oh yeah, this is my friend, or oh yeah, this is my sister, and this is my brother. And it's just like, you could tell it was people trying to ask her like, hey, look, you got money now, share it with me. It's like, I mean, she's not being scammed because she's doing it and she was a nice person, but it's like, can't you tell they're kind of just taking advantage of you?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's a good one.
That's all I've got for today.
You always find ones that I can relate to.
Do I?
Yeah. I mean, the other one was last week was, what was it? Ecuador, the Ecuador story, the legend, and then now a bank one. So
yeah, that's true.
that was good.
Yep.
I liked it.
I kind of, low-key, when I was reading them, I kind of forgot you worked at the bank.
Well, it's been a while now, 2-3 years almost.
It's been a little while
Since I left. Good times.
Yeah.
Love that place.
Pretty crazy stories. Interesting characters as well.
Make sure you guys, if you have any bank tellers out there or managers or whatnot, please let us know some stories because I would love to hear them. I have some of my own, but
I feel like there's interesting stuff that goes down in banks.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Especially, when you're dealing with a lot of money, things get serious and can get heated. But is that all? Is that all the stories you have?
Yes.
Okay. Good stories. 10 out of 10, honestly.
Thank you.
And I guess it's up to me now. Let's see if I can do as well as you did.
Okay.
But my personal story that I was going to tell you was, it was just your birthday recently.
Yes.
Happy birthday. And I got you a Christmas present or a birthday present, right? And it was an appointment to a massage place. You know, I wanted you to be all relaxed, you know, with having the baby and working and
It was great.
being a mom. I just wanted you to relax and get a nice massage. I've always wanted you to get a massage, and this time I just pulled the plug and I was like, yeah, I got to do it.
Yeah.
And
It's a good
so,
gift. Thank you.
you're welcome. So I thought about it at work, and I was like, oh, well, I set up an appointment the night before. I was actually in bed next to you, and I was like trying to hide it. Hopefully you wouldn't see it. But I was doing that and made you an appointment, selected all the amount of time, and all these different little add-ons. But on their website, I saw that it said, if you buy $100 in gift cards, you get $20 extra.
Okay.
If you buy $150 in gift cards, you get $40 extra.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to spend the money anyways. Might as well get a gift card, get $20 extra dollars, and I can actually have something physical to give you for your birthday instead of just, hey, there's an appointment you can gotta go to. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, here you
yeah.
go, and put in a nice little card.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I'll do that tomorrow not after work, during lunch. But then it was Tropical Smoothie Week, I think, where you could get a free smoothie with the order of an entree. And I love Tropical Smoothie, first of all, so I had to take advantage of that deal. And then my coworkers, they were like, oh, we want to go out for lunch. I was like, no, I got an errand to run, but I'm going to go get Tropical Smoothie, because they were right next to each other, you know.
Yeah.
They're right next to each other, not next to each other, but they're like across the street almost. So I was like, yeah, might as well go do that. It would take me 5 minutes tops to get the gift cards and then go get the food. And my coworkers are like, oh, you're going to Tropical Smoothie? Can I get something? I was like, yeah, just download the app. You know, you'll get a free smoothie. I'll pick it up for you. And then another coworker and another one and another one. So it was like 5 or 6 in total. And I didn't mind. It's going to take me 2 seconds to pick it up. I'm going to be there anyways. But I had another coworker come with me so he can help me carry everything. And I'm like, but I got to run an errand. He's like, that's fine. I go over to the massage place, and they're like, oh, how can I help you? And I'm like, I want to buy some gift cards for my wife. It's her birthday. And they're like, oh, that's so sweet. And how many gift cards? And I was like, just $100 worth, because I saw the promo. And then I was like, well, you get $40 if you buy 150, right? She was like, yeah. I was like, okay, let me just do that. Let me do $150 worth of gift cards so I can get the $40 extra. She's like, okay. And she grabs a gift card, starts typing it in, grabs the extra voucher, the $40 voucher, starts typing it into their laptop, and then she's like, all right, and then could I get an ID, and then could I get the credit card you're going to use to pay? And I was like, yeah. I start pulling all that out. And as she's filling all that out, I look over to the side of her, and there's like a little promo thing, almost like a poster on her desk. And it said not lifetime, your yearly membership, and there was a sale going on for Black Friday or something like that. And so I was like, oh, how much is the yearly membership? She's like, the yearly membership. And she's like, $75. I was like, oh, $75? She's like, yeah, you definitely want to do that instead of the gift cards. That'd be way more beneficial. And I was like, yeah, you don't say. She's like, you want to do that? And I was like, yeah, let's do that instead. She's like, okay. And so she had to cancel everything she did, give me back the credit card and my driver's license, and put everything away. She had to scrap those gift cards. I think they weren't any good anymore because she already put it in the system. And she was like, she tells the manager, hey, can you cancel that? Because I can't cancel that. She's like, yeah, we'll cancel it later. I was like, okay. And she's like, all right, so it's going to be a yearly membership. What's the name? You know, fill out this whole form, basically.
Yeah.
Of who it's going to be, the phone number, all that stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah. And then she's like, all right, well, now I have to go over on your side and pull up this tablet, this iPad, and go over all of the rules about it, all the little things, everything I just stated, basically, and you have to initial it. I'm like, okay, fair enough. But I'm like, ooh, it's already been 10 minutes. I'm still going on. I'm texting my coworker. I'm like, yeah, sorry, it's taking a little bit longer. He's like, what, they got you held hostage over there? Do I need to go in and save you? I was like, no, just things are going on. And so she's reading everything to me, basically everything she already stated. And she's like, just initial there. I'm like, okay, initial. And then she gets to the very last screen. It's the payment. She's like, all right, how are you going to pay? I was like, oh, here's my credit card. And she's like, okay, the payment's going to be $75 per month. And I'm like, wait, per month? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, no. I didn't know it was per month. I thought it was just $75 for the yearly membership, like just in total. And she's like, no. It's going to be per month. I was like, oh,
No.
okay, never mind. In that case, I don't want to do that anymore. Kid you not, she was mad. She said,
No way.
That's fine. And she got up, went back behind her desk, and she was like, tells her manager again, hey, I'm going to need you to cancel that too. I'm like, oh, this is so embarrassing. And so then it was horrible, honestly. I was cringing. And so then she starts filling out the gift card, pay for it. Cool. I leave, get in the car. That took honestly, it took like 30 minutes probably.
Jeez.
I get in the car. It's a whole story. I get in the car, and he's like, geez, what took so long? And I explain to him. He's like, crazy, dude. I'm like, I know. So we just go to Tropical Smoothie. I pick up my order. There's one for Pablo. There's one for my other coworker. I was going to start naming people, but I don't know if they want to be named yet. And my other coworker, and then my other one. I'm like, okay, there's one more. And I'm like, where is it? I don't see it. Because they have their own little pickup station with the receipt that has their name on it. I'm like, I don't see it. And so I'm like, all right, hold up. Quickly call them. I'm like, hey, what's your name on your app? He's like, it should just be my name. I'm like, you don't have a different name or something? Because there wasn't another order, but it wasn't under his name. Mm-hmm. He's like, no, it's just John Doe. And I'm like, yeah, there's no John Doe one here. I'm like, did you make sure you ordered it on Main Street? And he's like, yeah. Oh, no, I didn't. I ordered it on Market Street. I'm like, oh my God. And I told him, it's worse because specifically my coworker and myself, before we left, we were telling him when he's ordering, make sure you put Main Street because that's where we're going. And he didn't say anything. So then he said it again. Just want you to make sure that you're putting Main Street, okay? And he just said, yeah. And ordered. We told him twice, maybe 3 times, Main Street. No. But I was like, you know what? It's no big deal. I'll go get it. Oh, and before that, we couldn't find parking.
Oh,
so I just parked on the curb, and there was a red line, so it's a fire hazard one.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, I have no other choice. Put my hazard lights on. My coworker was like, oh my God, Pablo, don't do that. Please don't do that. This is so embarrassing. They're going to see us. And I was like, I don't care. I have no other option. But then I was waiting on his order and the whole ordeal of calling him and whatnot. So I told him, you know what? Take my car, look for parking while I was trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. He couldn't find parking. He found one. Because I was like, oh, there's a parking spot right there. Go. And he took too long. He was trying to be nice, and he let someone else go through first. Ended up taking the parking spot. Wow. So I just see him circling around. When I come back, he's like, you get it? I was like, no. He ordered at the wrong place. He's like, classic. I'm like, yeah, I know. But I was like, no big deal. It's on the way back anyways. So I go to the other location. And then, I get back in the car, switch seats with him so I can drive. And then I was like, hey, almost said his name again. Hey, coworker, did you see me come in with some gift cards? He's like, now that you mention it, no, you didn't come in with anything. I left the gift cards at the massage place.
Oh my.
Thankfully, I only remembered because on the way there, we had to take a different route to go to the other tropical smoothie because I could have gone through the interstate, but this way it was faster because it would take me to the tropical smoothie and then to work.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's funny. It's making me go back through the massage place. And that's when I remembered I didn't pick up the gift cards.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
oh no. And so
That lady done threw them away.
Oh, I know. And so I was like, okay, let me call. I was like, I've spent so much time. People are hungry. They're waiting on me. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to deal with that after work. I'm not going to deal with it right now. But then I was like, no, it's right there. It's literally right there. Let me just go in there. I was like, yeet. Went in there, and she's on her lunch. She's eating, and I'm like looking for them. And then I was like, thank goodness I opened them. They're still there. And there were a lot of people that walked in right before I left too. So I was like, someone's going to take it.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you're a lucky feller. I'm like, mm-hmm. Finally get to the other tropical smoothie, pick up the food, and go to work. And everyone's like,
Oh,
you're lucky I'm not hungry. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm sorry, guys. And I told them the story. But
oh my goodness.
I told you, it was a whole ordeal. It lasted almost an hour. Something that should have lasted 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Dude.
It was bad. You see why I was dying to tell you this story?
Yeah.
So many little things went
Little
wrong.
mishaps, yeah.
So many. But all that to get you a birthday present.
Yeah. Well, it was a great massage, so I
Yeah.
appreciate it. All the trouble you went through.
Yeah. But since we're on the topics of birthdays,
Yes.
I have a couple of birthday stories, and I'm actually going to narrow it down because I have like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to go too long with this episode. I feel like we've been talking a lot already.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah, I think it's probably been like an hour now. So
Kind of took up a lot of time.
yeah, I mean, the stories were good, so we had a lot to talk about. But I'm trying to narrow down which one I want to talk about. This one's just a little tiny one. It's from the subreddit called Confessions. It's just people confess to doing certain things that they wouldn't confess to people they know.
Okay.
They just put it on here. They're like, I don't want anyone to know that knows me, but I'm dying to tell someone.
Yeah.
Whether good or bad. Maybe something they need to get off their chest or just something they're proud of. And this one's very simple. It's just they say, I called the restaurant my boss was supposed to have her birthday party at and canceled it because she let me go without any notice. I was an employee at this company for 10 years and brought in a ton of business for this woman. Never had one smudge or blemish on my record. Screw you, Kathy. I hope your birthday was miserable.
Oh my gosh. So just called and canceled her birthday?
Yeah.
Dude. I see all these Reddit stories of people post stuff like this. Like, I think it was like, what, Petty Revenge is one of them. And I'm like, I don't know that I could ever do. I would be too scared of getting caught.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like you sometimes go a little too far.
No, yeah, they do
You
go a
know.
little too far. But sometimes there's like sometimes people really do messed up stuff to you that you're like, if I could just get back at them with one little thing. But I just would never do it for multiple reasons. But.
Yeah. But on the topic of petty revenge, I have one from Petty Revenge.
Do you?
I do. It's another birthday one. A little short one too. A little longer than the last one, but still short. It's titled Neighbor Called the Cops on My Birthday Party. So over lockdown, I turned 21. I held an appropriate party for the occasion. 5 of us recently tested and hanging out around a fire in my backyard with a good distance between us. We were merry for sure, but never shouting. Just singing some songs together and chatting. Around 10 at night, a very apologetic police officer pulled up and told us they got a noise complaint about us. And even he thought it was a little much, but I had to check it out anyways. Just said to maybe, tone it down a little bit, have a good party. We saw my backyard neighbor watching us from the window with a phone in her hand, a woman who has always been really, really snotty to my immigrant and poorer than her family, and quickly put 2 and 2 together. Honestly, if she had just asked us herself to quiet down, it wouldn't have been an issue at all. So this is where the petty revenge comes in. I don't want to cause any issues with her because she's just such a pain in the butt to deal with already. So I've been taking the quietest, pettiest revenge possible since then. Every growing season, I plant mint right through the holes in our shared fence. Her perfectly manicured yard is her baby, and the mint totally overtakes it. Our yard too, but we don't care about our yard. We hear her complain about it to her family constantly. Whenever she thinks she got rid of it, I plant more. Just bearing some roots so they take time to grow and spread. Screw with my birthday and prepare to be mildly inconvenienced. Butthole.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. That is so funny. That's just a little.
I think that's a good little petty
I was gonna
revenge.
say that's a good little. I might do that.
Yeah. Oh.
Not that I might do it, but
If you were ever to take revenge on someone, that's something that you would
that's
consider.
something that I'm like, okay,
Yeah, because you're not harming
that's
anyone.
doable.
You know, you're not harming anyone. You're not really committing any crimes. I don't think.
That's the
but
kind
you're
of
still-
revenge that would be doable. For
Yeah,
me.
you're just kind of inconveniencing them a little bit.
Yeah.
You're making them a little bit miserable.
Yeah.
Especially with their yard being their baby.
Yeah.
You know, you're hitting them where it hurts.
Yeah.
Without actually hitting them.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's a good one.
For sure.
And then I have two more.
Okay.
One can segue to a third story that I have.
Okay.
Or which is a different topic. Or we can go with the one that's not gonna segue. Actually, I'm sorry. No, they both have to deal with the other topic.
Oh. There you go.
But one's shorter.
Okay.
I'm gonna read you the titles and you pick.
Okay.
If you are selfish at my wedding, I'll be selfish at your birthday party.
Okay.
And the other one is going to invite unwanted guests to our wedding after we already said no. Watch this. So one's a birthday wedding theme, which segues into my wedding theme, and the other one's just straight up a wedding theme. Which one sounds more intriguing to you?
I think the second one.
The going to invite unwanted guests to our wedding after we already said no. Watch this.
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty good. This one's, again, another petty revenge. And it says, this was a few years back, but still a goodie. I wasn't on speaking terms with one of my brothers, and for good reasons. He tried to start a fist fight with my now husband, and his wife threatened to shoot me. I don't know what kind of... This is crazy already. At the time, we were engaged, and I made it clear to both my brother and the rest of my family he wasn't invited to the wedding. However, my mother took it upon herself to reach out and say she talked with him, and he and his wife promised to behave. I reminded her he was absolutely not invited. She had no right to do that, and she needed to call him back and make that known. Her response? But he's your brother, and to think of the family. To make matters worse, we were receiving a lot of pressure to pay for an open bar, and we don't even drink ourselves, as well as pay for a bigger venue, even though we wanted a small and more intimate wedding. Where was the pressure coming from? None other than my alcoholic mother, who wanted to invite a bunch of her relatives I've never met and take advantage of an open bar. So here comes the fun part. I was at my wit's end with all this family drama. So one Monday evening, a couple months before the wedding, the following conversation took place. What are you doing tomorrow? Me. Hanging out with you. Why? Now husband. Want to get married? Me. Are you serious? Heck yeah. Now husband. And we did it. We eloped.
Oh my gosh.
With just us and a couple of friends that offered to officiate the wedding that Tuesday evening, we saved thousands of pounds, thousands of dollars, didn't have to deal with all the drama, and had our small and intimate wedding that we wanted. Honestly, I wish we had done this to begin with. However, my mother lost her mind. Posted all over Facebook seeking pity about not being at her daughter's wedding and how could I do that to her, etc., etc. Funny how she didn't mention any of the above details in her post and made it all about her wants and woe is me. Even more funny is we would have had the wedding if she would have respected our decisions. So no, you don't get to invite unwanted guests, make demands, or get to go to our wedding.
I kind of love that.
Yeah, me too. Again, another petty revenge that doesn't really hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Physically or whatever. And it was probably the best thing because imagine having people that you don't want in your wedding.
Yeah.
A lot of people, but one of them being a brother that threatened your husband or punched him and threatened to shoot you, or his wife threatened to shoot you. You know, that's just that's chaotic. So
yeah, I feel like that's a lot of the times I don't agree with having to invite certain people because they're family,
Mm-hmm.
because they're this, and sometimes their family just isn't
Worth it.
worth it, or the type of people you even want at your wedding.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone, but you know, I feel like not that there was really anybody I needed to give an excuse to not go invite to our wedding, but I feel like we got married during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
so that was a good way of not inviting any extra people that sometimes you might feel a little guilty about not inviting.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Especially people that like our parents are gonna be like, you should invite this person. You know.
right. My parents weren't really saying stuff like that, but it's still kind of like if a distant cousin or aunt doesn't get invited, I'm not going to give you the explanation of COVID, but it kind of is like, well, COVID is a thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it kind of serves as an excuse without you really having to even give that excuse, if that makes sense.
We got lucky, and then we also, even if we wanted to invite all these people, we didn't. Not that we didn't have the money for it, but we didn't want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Like you hear people spending 40, 50,
Well, it
60,000.
wasn't even about the money. It was just wanting to have like
Oh,
a
yeah,
smaller
something
wedding.
intimate. Yeah.
I was like, why wouldn't I? Like, honestly, there was probably going to be more people that I would invite if it wasn't for COVID, for the sheer fact of their family,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And maybe those people probably wouldn't have gone anyway just because of distance and scheduling and stuff like that. But because of COVID, I was like, you know what? We're just not even going to invite them because, you know, A, they're far, or B, I'm not that close to them, whatever. But so I kind of love that. I kind of love that she just kind of did her own thing, and she was like, you know what? Let's just get married, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You know, is the person that you're gonna marry, and kind of. I mean, I feel for the mom because I feel like I would want to be there too if it was my daughter's wedding. But at the end of the day, it's like
When you're acting the way you're acting.
Yeah, when you're. I would like to think that I wouldn't act that way in the first place.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like her thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she's the one that gets to plan and do whatever she wants to
I
do.
mean, yeah, for you it was a little bit more difficult because you have a lot of family here. I only had literally my immediate family, and that's it. That's the only people that I have here in the States.
Yeah.
And so I just got to pick my immediate family and then some friends.
Right.
And that was it. It was super easy for me. So for you, it was a lot harder because your whole family's here basically.
Yeah.
And all these different states. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that one a lot. Just go ahead and go elope, save all the money, use it for a honeymoon instead.
Yeah.
Like people that are spending thousands of dollars on weddings is ridiculous. And I think it's just a whole societal norm for no reason. Like a lot of little girls grow up saying, you know, I want this fancy wedding.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you should be telling them you want this really nice honeymoon. Could you imagine, instead of spending $10,000 on a honeymoon, you spend $10,000 on a wedding?
Mm-hmm.
What for?
Yeah.
It's a night you're not going to see those $10,000 for. Like most of the people are going to see it with the food and drinks.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But instead, if you use $10,000 on your honeymoon, you can go literally any country in the world.
Yeah.
For multiple days, probably 5-star resorts.
Yeah.
And eat, do, play, literally do whatever you want at your honeymoon.
Yeah.
It's way better.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I would rather spend that money towards the honeymoon.
Mm-hmm. But they definitely dodged a bullet on this one.
For sure.
I think that's it, though. I have another one that's another wedding one, but it's a little bit longer. And it's kind of sad.
Ooh, I don't.
And I don't want to go on the sad. It's not sad, but you're like, really? That's. Ugh.
Yeah.
And I want to end on that high one. It was good. It wasn't anything.
I agree.
Too bad.
I agree. All right. So is that a wrap?
I think it's a wrap.
All right.
So this is episode 2 of The Unfolding Hour. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on, I think it's a follow. I don't know if you subscribe or follow. But to our Spotify. We have it on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts at. But definitely subscribe on YouTube. Leave a like. Turn on the bell notification. Comment anything you want to comment. Any stories or anything you can relate to from this episode. But definitely also follow or join our subreddit. That's probably going to be the best place where you can interact with us because you can leave your own stories and they can be shared on the episode.
For sure. So send us your stories or also just topics, because for me, I got into that topic of insurance fraud and scams because I had seen that article,
That's
that
true.
news article about the whole bear costume thing. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting topic. So sometimes it just takes, something like that to really pique your interest in something. So if you
That's
guys
true.
want to send us some interesting topics, that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah. And also follow us on TikTok. We're gonna be making some little TikTok shorts from these episodes. And probably you can post some ideas for us, or we might ask questions and stuff like that. It's kind of getting started, but follow us on TikTok too. We'll be posting on there, honestly, everywhere. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.